Yeah. What's good, party people? This is Voodoo in the Woods. I'm According to Woods, and he is former U of MMA champion Pius Inala Lobo, better known as Voodoo Maximus. There you go.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you, my friend. And hey, look, it's clear as daylight. Everyone understands I am with the one and only Ada Day Woods. So there's nothing else to be said after that. 8 per day.
Sometimes I do
I'll
stuff,
drink
and
to that.
sometimes I don't. Yeah, let's do that. Cheers, good sir. But speaking of cheers, man, UFC London is upon us. Well, it's about to be upon
Yep.
us. Headlined by Tom Aspinall, a guy who came into prominence. I mean, pretty much as long as we followed his UFC career, almost parallel to the start of this show about 2 years ago. You know, he wasn't even in the UFC. You know, and now he's basically, he's got a top 5 guy in Curtis Blades. My goodness, this is crazy, right?
Things are moving along, man. Things are moving along, especially in this is in boxing. Boxing is where the best guys don't want to fight the best guys for whatever the reason. This isn't the case here. In the UFC, the best guys fight the best guys right now, and that's how I like it.
Yeah, so I guess I mean, hey baby, you like it like that? You like it like that? No, 100%. And if you've been following this show, a lot of the names they might not, I guess, to a larger audience, right? You know, the unwashed, I don't want to say unwashed masses, but definitely the filthy casuals, they might not know. But if you guys have been tuned in with us, I mean, there's a lot of names that, I mean, we were talking about them on this show. Oh, they're making their UFC debut, this, that, and the other. They're coming from Cage Warriors, Invicta, and whatever. And now, I mean, they pretty much make the entirety of this card. I mean, some of the guys and gals on this particular card, if not to say that their rise wouldn't have happened if not for us talking about them on the show, but also we've talked about them on the show and they fill out a card is what I'm saying. So you can read between the lines. I'm just saying Dana White and Sean Shelby and McMaynard, they know who the hell we are because they matchmake about guys and girls that we talk about right here on Voodoo in the Woods.
You're goddamn right.
Damn right. And long time no see, says McMac, and happy birthday to you, McMac. Joining us right on. It's your, intrepid birthday. It's your 876, from what I understand so far. So long. So again, Mazel Tov or Assalamu Alaikum, either way. Both of them, man. But getting started, we got again somebody that's we talked about on this show, the 19-4-1 Nicholas Dalby, going up against somebody that I'm not, to be honest, not too familiar with, but the 14-3 Brazilian won. What was his name? Oh yes, Claudio Silva. Right. So let's look at Dalby, the Danish Dynamite. Right. His last time that we saw him in the octagon, he basically got his mettle tested in the veteran Dirty Bird Tim Means, and he lost via decision. But prior to that, he fucking beat D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez.
That's saying a lot.
That's a lot because Daniel Rodriguez is top 15 in that welterweight division. My goodness, his time is going to come soon enough. So holy hell, So right there, and then Alex Oliveira, right, the Cowboy Oliveira, like he's had the tippy top of competition, as he made the ascension from Cage Warriors to the UFC. Oh, come on. Yeah. Cowboy Oliveira, Daniel Rodriguez, and fucking Tim Means. Holy shit. And of course, there was the no contest with Jesse Ronson, but even still, those three Means, Rodriguez, Oliveira. Holy fucking shit, man! Nicholas Dalby has been through the fire. He's the Danish Dynamite for good reason, man. Because they fucking try to set his silly ass on fire, right?
It's definitely safe to say he's fought some credible opponents in the UFC. You know, without further ado, man, Nicholas Dolby is my pick. He's got very good striking. Takedown defense is very decent. Claudio Silva is going to be looking forward to engaging in that region, the ground game, and I think he will have a hard time getting the finish. Uh, um, I'm going. My money's on Nicholas Dolby. What say you, sir?
Well, I mean, I guess let's give a little bit more context to one Claudio Silva, right? So Claudio Silva, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, training out of American Top Team, right? But I mean, he's had not the easiest run in the UFC himself, right? Coming over to the UFC, and it's crazy. Just to, you talk about it, Voodoo, about making your mark in the UFC for as long or short as your UFC run can be, your time in the spotlight. He's a guy that has been here since 2014, and I couldn't tell you any of his fights with absolute certainty. Like it's
There you go.
but he's been in there with Leon Edwards, Nordin Talib. His last two fights were both unanimous decision losses against James Krause, right, of Glory MMA, right, trainer champions, player coach, if you will, and Court
Mhm.
McGee, who, I mean, that dude has fought addiction. I mean, he's our version of that, like evil Abe Lincoln, like what is it, the Russian Federation dudes, right? All the dudes who train with Habib and whatever. Well, Court McGee is the closest thing that we've fucking got
Mhm.
to those guys, right? So, but yeah, I'm gonna go with Dolby as well. Um, it seems like Claudio, obviously a penchant for jiu-jitsu, right? So I don't think Dolby finishes this one, but I think he scores a unanimous decision. And unfortunately, Claudio is going to befall Dolby in the same way that he did his last two opponents in Kraus and Court McGee. I could be wrong, but I feel pretty strongly about that.
And furthermore, it's great that Claudio trains with the American Top Team. It's fantastic, but the game has evolved so much such that Jiu-Jitsu cannot be your base anymore. Jiu-Jitsu is now a supplemental. It's an effective, if not the most effective supplemental, but it is still a supplemental and not a base. So therefore, those who are based in jiu-jitsu tend to have a hard time getting W's in the octagon. The game has just evolved that much. Most people know what an armbar is, a triangle is. You know, the only place that a jiu-jitsu artist can uh, uh, take the lead will be in the transition game, and most folks wrestle, and because they wrestle, they understand the transition game. So if you can shut down the hits of the jiu-jitsu artist, it's rather difficult for them to do what they need to do to get the submission. So therefore, this is why I'm picking my guy, and I'm sure you're picking your guy. Well, the same guy,
Same
based
guy?
on the same reason.
Absolutely. So, I mean, to kind of summarize it, what I feel like you're saying is we don't jits anymore. We don't
Mhm,
jits anymore. We don't
mhm,
jits anymore like we
mhm,
used to do.
mhm,
There you go.
mhm,
That was probably what is it, Charlie Puth and what is it, Selena? One of Justin Bieber's exes that sang on the "We Don't Talk Anymore" song. But
Selena
yeah,
Gomez or something like that.
yeah, something like that. One of them for sure. But yeah, so there you go. A consensus pick in one Nicholas Dalby, the Danish Dynamite. Now, sliding over, we've got a. I think it's going to be one of the. There's so many matches here that like potential fight of the night or whatever. Um, I don't know if it's going to be a fight of the night, but I guarantee you this is. I think it's going to be a dogfight we got Victoria Leandro 8-4,
Mm-hmm.
right? And this is the women's
Mm-hmm.
flyweight division, just in case you didn't know. But Fury Victoria Leandro, 8-4, uh, going against the German Mandy Baum, right? So let's look at Leandro first, right? So she was doing great, in terms of her Invicta run. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it was up and down, right? So comes into Invicta at Invicta FC 34 in 2019, right? But
Mm-hmm.
even in that, right, prior to that, she her MMA professional debut is All Hail Haley Cowan, who's now in the UFC, right? So again, that's a hell of a jumping off point for your pro career. One, that it's somebody that is now in the UFC. Two,
Mm-hmm.
or I mean, maybe Haley is still in Invicta. I can't remember which. No, she's still in. She's still in, but she's one of the cornerstones of Invicta now. So, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that right there made me think like, oh, she was already in the UFC. But no, I mean, she's one of the cornerstones of the current day Invicta, right? So that is the name right off the bat, and this is who
Mm-hmm.
Victoria faced in her very first professional MMA match. And the fact that, holy smokes, um, to like most people do a regional amateur show for their professional debut. No, she goes right into LFA, like LFA,
Yeah.
like on UFC Fight Pass to kind of sink her teeth into the MMA business, right? Then she
Mm-hmm.
goes her third fight. She's facing a Miranda Maverick, which she lost by armbar. But again, Miranda Maverick in her UFC tenure, we see how ardent Miranda Maverick is, right? And then she dabbles
Mm-hmm.
in boxing and kickboxing, right? And then gets into Invicta in 2019. And I mean, right off the bat, Stephanie Geltmacher, right? Now in the UFC, that's a name that we know. Then there's another run with Miranda Maverick, which she loses, but this time it's a little bit closer in the sense that she isn't finished, but she loses a unanimous decision. And then Erin Blanchfield, she gets KO'd by Erin Blanchfield, but still, I mean, Erin Blanchfield is a name that we know, right? And then coming into the UFC, comes in by way of the Dana White Contender Series, where she, TKO's Chelsea Hackett, right? But then she loses her official UFC debut against Manon Fiorot. But Jesus Christ, Manon Fiorot, holy hell, right? And then Melissa Gatto. But unfortunately, that is one where Leandro breaks her arm, right? So
Mm-hmm.
kind of a
Mm-hmm.
dubious distinction, and she goes against the German Mandy Bohm. But before I get to Bohm, McMack is pretty fucking psyched, right? He says, can't wait until the Commonwealth Games. He believes that Australia will win 87 gold medals, just like last time. Um, yes, and no brag, just fact is the hashtag. So there you go. And that happens next week, which I think that
Mm.
goes right up against SummerSlam. So, man, McMack, you got some fucking
Got some
choices.
competition.
I'm just saying, man. Or is it no? Yeah, SummerSlam is next, the week after next, and somewhere is Ric Flair's last match, and then the Ring of Honor, and we've got UFC's all about. So shit, dude. Again, if you want, some action, the next few weeks got you covered, right? But again,
Mm-hmm.
getting you covered. The 7-1 German Mandy Bohm, right? Monster Mandy Bohm. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Uh, Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
7-1, right? That I mean, she's got wins in GMC. She's got wins in the TKO promotion, and even
Mm-hmm.
Bellator, the rival to UFC of sorts, right? But getting wins in every way that you can. Rear naked choke to Jaden Mason Wong in TKO. Gets a KO over Lily uh, Pan Panjerico. That's where I'm going with. Yeah, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
And then unanimous decisions. But then she comes to the UFC. After she was supposed to fight Malin Hermanson as well as
Mm-hmm.
Talia Santos and Ariane Lipsky, right? And then when she finally faces Lipsky, she loses via unanimous decision, and now she wants to get back into the winning column, especially here in the UFC, and she faces the aforementioned Victoria Leandro. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Lipski. I mean, not, I'm sorry, not Lipski. Obviously, not Lipski. The one that Lipski beat, in the sense it's Mandy Monster Bomb. And the reason why
Mm-hmm.
I say that is Victoria Leandro. Nothing against her, but the last time that we saw her in the octagon, she broke her arm, right? And we know
Mm-hmm.
what we know about broken, appendages, right? Whether it be arm, foot, whatever. You're never really quite the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anderson Silva was a little bit more tepid. Obviously he was kind of on the tail end of his career, so that's that asterisk there. But
Mm-hmm.
even still, he wasn't leg kicking everybody to oblivion like he did before the leg break, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
um, and that's the kind of number one question: should and if Conor McGregor comes back, how is he going to look, right? After his leg break. So, with
Mm-hmm.
that being said, I think Victoria Leandro might be a little bit tepid in terms
Mm-hmm.
of throwing strikes that could potentially mean a KO, right? If this thing is all about inches, right? A game of inches and everything like that. Her kind of like hesitating versus getting that KO shot, that's a perfect opportunity for Mandy Baum, who is an all-around mixed martial artist, right? To maybe get that KO or stun her
Mm-hmm.
to the extent where she goes
Mm-hmm.
to TKO. And again,
Mm-hmm.
she broke her arm in a submission kind of predicament, right? So that's always
Mm-hmm.
on the table. And again, Mandy's record shows that she's pretty ardent in submissions as well as the stand-up game. So that's why I'm going with Mandy Baum. But what say you, Voodoo?
I'm gonna second your Mandy Bomb because as you said, Mandy is a complete fighter. She's got submission wins, she's got knockout, she's got striking wins. Victoria primarily is a submission person. Since she's American, I'm guessing she's a wrestler, right? Slash
Right.
ground and pounder, slash Randy Couture-ish. Um, the problem with that is if you don't have the gas tank to sustain such output, then there's gonna be trouble. Um, I'm going Mandy because I believe Mandy has the capability to defend against the takedown and keep the fight standard. She has the better striking, which I love. I'm always going to be a supporter of dynamic striking. I believe she's on her way to dynamic. She's not dynamic yet, but she's on her way to dynamic. Um, I see this fight ending in the third round. Mandy with a stoppage in the third round.
No, 100%. Either way, I think we both can kind of surmise that Mandy Baum is coming away with that. Again, nothing against Leandro, but it's
Mm.
just it's going to get weird really quick for her. But I think this is going to be one of the most talked about coming out of this card.
Mm.
However, whether it be a decision, it's going to be like a dogfight decision because neither athlete, neither fighter is going to give
Mm.
1 inch, 1/4. So I
Mhm.
love it, and if it gets finished, again, I think it's going to be spectacular. So there you go.
Mhm.
And the good brother Husky 518 saying, "What's up? What's up, Husky? What's up, Shane? How are you doing?" Our compatriot over here on bodyslam.net, where we're being simulcast. So Mario Yamasaki's to bodyslam.net. I always love it. Mario Yamasaki's. Let them fight. Let them die. Warrior
Let them
spirit.
die.
Let them die. And Fiji might get one gold. 100%. I mean, I think as long we might get more golds if like drinking kava and Fiji bitter were in in one of the contests, right? Like that might be it because shot putters. I don't think we've got many there. Uh, and what was it? What else do we got? Maybe cricket, if cricket's still a thing, right? That's a Commonwealth, right? And yes,
Mhm.
USA aren't Commonwealth countries, so easy pickings. Yes, we know. Wait, you mean to tell me we don't have the Queen Mom on our American currency? Balderdash, sir, balderdash, and doing great. Doing great. Glad to have you here. And again, if you guys haven't already, man, check out Shade Husky or Husky 518 over on Twitch, over on the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast, which you can see literally after every wrestling show throughout the week. They're doing NXT, they're doing the AEW, Raw, and SmackDown. I long since jumped off the Raw and SmackDown train, but they're doing it for you, so you don't have to. Shout out to the good brothers there at the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast, the franchise player Brad Blood, the chemical master, the mixologist Julian Smith, and yes, the great Shane Husky. They're doing it for you, so you don't have to. You know. But speaking of things that might not happen or not have to, we won't be bored because we have. Speaking of Commonwealth, McMack, we got Jai Herbert from England, 11-4, former Cage Warriors champion, the Black Country Ranger. He is right, and he's going up against none other than the Canadian, again Commonwealth country, Kyle Nelson. 11-4 is Jai Herbert, right, and he's kind of had an up and down deal with his entry to the UFC. He enters the UFC, in 2020, right? And he got KO'd by what would some people would call old ass Francisco Trinaldo, right? Mm-hmm. But no, Francisco Trinaldo is just like he's in that same category as Yoel Romero or who's the other fucking guy who went to Hector Lombard. Holy shit, man. Whatever they're having, I want too, because those motherfuckers are 50. Hell, Voodoo's on it too. Voodoo, what the fuck are you getting that shit? And I need some because, like, yeah, I need to unfat fuck myself. That's what I'm saying. But yes, unfortunately, Jai Herbert has had a rough fucking go because Francisco Trinaldo, he gets KO'd. Renato Moicano, remember everybody was like, Moicano's going to be the fucking feature of the division? Well, I mean, and that was some years ago. That was almost a decade ago. But Moicano still had enough to finish Jai Herbert off with the rear naked choke, right? So finished him, but wins over Kama Worthy, which is arguably his only. Yeah, it's not even arguably. It is both his only UFC win as well as his most prominent UFC win. And then losing to Ilya Topuria, but fucking Ilya Topuria is a bad motherfucker. That one again. We followed his UFC career, right from the jump, right here on this show, and Topuria basically KOs Herbert in the second round with a right hook, vicious right hook. Now let's go over to the
straight Canadian. To the shadow realm.
Fuck yes, he did. Oh Jesus Christ! Well, you know what might exist in the shadow realm? I think. I can't be too sure because I've never fucking seen the Shadow Realm, but I would believe that there's monsters in the Shadow Realm, which is kind of crazy because the monster Kyle Nelson, 13-4, man, he's been here a while. Entered the UFC in 2018 with a loss to Diego Fiera, right? But then loses again via arm triangle choke to Matt Sales. Then he KOs Polo Reyes. Man, that's a name I hadn't heard in a fucking while. Polo Reyes. But then loses to Billy Quarantillo, right? Another guy who we've talked about. I don't even know what happened to Billy Quarantillo because he was here for a minute, during COVID, the COVID era of UFC, and then I haven't heard too much of him after that. So yeah, man. Kyle Nelson has kind of had an up and down deal. I expect this to be another dogfight, especially, coming right after that flyweight, the women's flyweight contest that, is the second match of the card. I'm actually going to say, I feel like Jai Herbert, right, being a former Cage Warriors champion, right, he's seeing a lot of the things that is, look at former Cage Warriors champions like Conor McGregor, like Paddy Pimblett, right? And seeing all the attention that they're getting and like, oh, fuck, like, I want some of that shit. I have some of the same credentials. I've traveled some of those same paths as those gentlemen. Let me see what the fuck I can do. So I want to say that third round KO. I believe in you, fucking Jai, and not to say that I don't believe in Kyle Nelson, but I feel like Jai needs to get started, whereas Kyle Nelson could potentially be at the end of his UFC career, going 1-4 or 1-3, I should say, right? So I'm going third round KO, Jai Herbert.
I'm not mad at that, man. Jai Herbert. He's got that good old English boxing, you know. You know, he's got that. He's got that in the back pocket. His kicks are decent. Upon his entry into the UFC, they threw him to the wolves, man. You know what I'm saying? Like the people, yeah, he lost, but he also learned a lot. I mean, Tupuria is no easy task. Moicano, are you serious? Francisco Trinaldo, you know what I'm saying? It's like Dana White. It seems like Dana White was mad at this dude. This
Right?
type of you know what I'm
100%.
saying?
Like, did he fucking fuck with, like, Dana White's kid, and steal
Hey,
his lunch money or some shit?
hey, how do you start him off with Francisco Trinaldo?
Right. Well, I
Francisco
guess somebody
Trinaldo, are
had
you
to.
serious? Like, come on, man. You're gonna throw Francisco Trinaldo at this guy on his first fight in the UFC? What you expect? What you expect with an overhand left? Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? So he's seen killers. He's seen killers. Kyle Nelson, yeah, he's seen some competition. Yeah, the monster. He's seen some competition. But I mean, Billy's a good fighter. But who the hell is Matt Saylor? Diego Fiera. When's the last time we saw him? He's not even in the UFC anymore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Who the hell is Matt Saylor? Who the hell is that? Who's that? Who's that? I don't know who that guy is. I don't know him. I know Billy Quarantillo, and I know Jai Herbert. I think Jai Herbert will beat him, like you said, in the third round. It's not the second round. I'm with you on that one.
There you go. Consensus pick. Here we go. That's the second
Mhm.
one tonight. And Shane Husky says, watching Raw, we lose brain cells while watching Raw's War for you guys. No, thank you for taking one for the team. And Shaman Steve says, good evening, gentlemen. Good evening,
Oh,
Shaman Steve.
Shaman Steve.
We are
Oh,
back.
man. Speaking of Shaman Steve sent me a video, man. And Shaman Steve, hey, man, I told you last time he's lost his mind. Hey, man, all the screws are loose. Shaman Steve is shredding like crazy, and he's just killing the punching bag these days, man. Just smashing a punching bag, throwing them ones and twos and them hooks. Man, Shaman Steve, keep killing, brother. Keep killing, man. I am honored to see the transformation. Shaman Steve is turned into a madman. And no. He's not turned into a madman. He's a madman already. He's fallen in love with the art of smashing. And what could be better than that?
Not much. Not much. Unless you're like Mark Kerr. That didn't end out so well. But
The smashing
yeah,
machine.
yes, 100%.
Hey, I believe Shaman Steve is gonna pick up that moniker, the smashing machine.
Jesus.
I'm
Hey,
I'm looking
shout
forward
out.
to excellent kicks now, Shaman Steve. Excellent kicks. Those punches are
Oh,
looking real nice and smooth.
there you go. There you go. And Shane asks, does Video have UFC 4? If he does, do you play it on PlayStation or Xbox?
Well, I'm not very good with video games. The only type of video games I'm good at is I used to love Gran Turismo, the car racing one.
Yeah.
I enjoy the dirt racing. With the what do you call those cars? The
Form,
Subaru,
it's,
the
yeah,
Subaru
Subaru.
STI.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy driving dirt with that. But like the fighting games and the Mario's, I'm not good at those things. I'm not good at it. That's why I decided to do it in real life.
Hey, there you go. There you go.
I figured I have better control in real life than than in the video games. So I'm not good at video games, tell you the truth. So
Okay.
I can watch you play. I'll watch you play all day long and cheer you on. But I've never been good at video games except the car racing one.
There you go. And for anyone to jump on Shane's streams, it's right there. Husky underscore 518 on Twitch. He's doing it so you don't have to. And then also, giving context, right? Shaman C says there's
Oh
monsters
yeah.
in the shadow realm
Yes,
and
they
they can be
are.
tamed. Holy
Yes,
shit.
they are. With one of these.
There you go. I mean, that sounded
hey,
like
with
a
hey, hey, with one of them porton hooks.
okay.
That
I
left
mean,
hook.
with the sound effect, it sounded like a West Hills porno, but okay, it's cool. Yeah, right on. Rogue Stromer says Herbert cracks. Kyle Nelson has been training with Mike Malloy, which intrigues him. I can see it
Okay.
close. 100%,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah, definitely. It's gonna be a competitive match. I totally
Mhm.
agree with you on that, Strumer. Most definitely, it's gonna be a close match. But
Yeah,
the level of competition always makes a difference. You know, one who has gone to the depths of hell. You know what I mean? Let's say one goes 6 feet deep and the other one goes 10 feet deep. There's a difference. There's a difference. The one that's gone 10 feet deep has seen a lot worse. And I believe Herbert is that guy. And he's going to edge him out based on experience alone. Right? Based on experience, he's going to edge him out there. And that's why I'm choosing Herbert.
yeah, absolutely. And Nelson might just face plant to the mat again. Yep, that happened. Um, there might be some redemption lingering. Yeah, man.
We'll see.
Fucking rage. Anybody that's like positive vibes only. Some of the best shit has come out of people being fucking pissed off. That happened to me. That person didn't fucking ask me out. I'm hungry. I want that car. Like whatever. Jealousy of fucking
uh,
got some motherfuckers motivated is what I'm saying. So yeah, nothing like getting fucking face planted and shit
uh,
like that might make you want to turn everything around. So just saying, So you got a point. Shout out to Rogue. But you kind of moving on. We have Muhammad Mokayev, perfect
uh-huh,
6-0 against the
uh-huh,
11-12 Charles Johnson. So we had in fight two, we had women's flyweight, and then now we have a men's flyweight contest. I love it. A lot of diversity up in this card here. So
uh-huh, uh-huh.
let's go with Inerg Charles Johnson first, right? Charles Johnson, has he's Jesus Christ. Like let's just think about this. This dude is on a 5-fight winning streak in two different sports, right? Boxing. He actually fought in Thailand FC4, and he KOs his opponent, Falan Pogsiri. That's what I'm going with,
Mm,
right?
mm.
And then he comes back to MMA, right? And this is, after all, shit, holy shit.
Mm.
This dude fought Raw Dog Brandon Royval at LFA 42 on the undercard of Rafael Stotts and Ryan Lilly.
Yeah, that's the one Ryan Lilly kicked his head off, didn't it?
And
Isn't that
Stotts
the
is a
one?
fucking Bellator world champion. This is what I love, right? Looking back on cards of old, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
when you look at this particular LFA card, right? Some names speak out, right? But we got, there's some names that might not even be competing anymore. But you have Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, that guy
Mm-hmm.
that we were covering not too long ago. Like he's on
Mm-hmm.
this card where he lost
Mm-hmm.
via split decision. Kevin Krug,
Mm-hmm.
of course, my fucking dogs cut out my light. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ. Let's talk about Shadow Realm. These stupid motherfuckers. God damn it. Um, shit. Go ahead and talk. I'll be fixing shit.
Enter the shallow realm. Oh
You
my goodness.
stupid.
Hey, this Charles Johnson fella, he truly is a combat sports athlete, which is admirable. He has no problem going in there and jumping into some boxing. Not a lot of people do boxing. Boxing by itself is not easy. Not easy. Not easy. Get your ass whooped in boxing. Get your ass whooped. Uh, he has no fear of boxing. Though he's gone in boxing and he's lost damn near every boxing match. It's not about the losses. It's about what he's learned from boxing. and then he transitions, and then he does other things in MMA. He's got some submission wins, anaconda choke here, but mostly he's a knockout artist. He's a striker. He's got a choke here and there. You know what I'm saying? But he's even fought my boy Yuma Horiguchi. That's my boy right there. He beat Yuma by split decision. Yuma's also a striker, so for him to beat Yuma by split decision, that means his striking is very decent. But he's gonna be going in there against Mohamed Mokaev. Mohamed Mokaev, he's a Punisher. Punisher for a reason. This is the same fella. By the way, he's from Manchester, England. Born in Dagestan, but fighting out of Manchester, England. This is the same fella that had Conor McGregor's name in his mouth not too long ago. He's beaten Cody Durden. He's beaten Blaine O'Driscoll. He's a winner. The boy has never seen a loss. Many amateur fights. What does that mean? Many amateur fights means experience. You hear about Khabib and Islam Makhachev and all these guys, hundreds of amateur fights. Hundreds of amateur fights. So when they cross in and then they're starting a professional career, come on, man. They've seen it all already. They've seen it all. This guy's he's fought in Brave. He's fought in Celtic Gladiator. But most of his fights have been in Brave. Now he's in the UFC.
No,
First fight.
It could go the other way, right? Though, like having a shit ton of amateur fights, and then you can fucking end up with the speech pattern of fucking Sean Strickland.
Yeah. But the good thing here is this guy has won 80% by unanimous decision. You know what that means? He's wrestling the hell out of everybody. He's got a slam knockout. A slam knockout. So that means that wrestling is off the chains. Junior world champion. Man's a world champion. European senior junior world champion. Come on, man. The man is a wrestling ace. And he believes in his wrestling. He believes in his wrestling. And so far, it's worked out for him, and he's been undefeated. If he gets a chance, he'll sub you. That's what he's doing lately. He's subbing folks in the second round. In the first round, Charles Johnson will be taken down, and Charles Johnson will be strangled. And that's that. It's as easy as that. This man is being fed to the wolves. Johnson is being fed to the wolves, and he will be eaten alive, if not asshole first.
Jesus Christ. That's the worst way to go. Go ahead. Yeah. Only time I like to go asshole first is like taking a shit. I don't know. Because if I fucking take a shit up my fucking mouth, that'd be weird. Anyway, there might be something wrong with my plumbing. And speaking of, Rogue says that laugh is my jam. So there you go. LOL. And wow. Yeah. I mean, if I fucking shit out my mouth, that'd be talking shit, taking it to a whole new level. Then there's levels to this shit. I'm gonna shit you levels that you weren't expecting. That's my fucking fight stance. I'm just saying, yo. So I mean, I think we got Mokaev, right? That's what we're going down.
Yeah, easy. It's gonna be easy.
Well, I mean, Rogue basically said old man strength, 100%, and I'd say Johnson keeps it competitive.
He'll try.
Yeah, he'll try.
He'll try, and then he'll figure out like the Borg and not Star Wars. What's that other Star Federation show?
Star Trek.
Like the Borgs in Star Trek. Resistance is futile.
Oh, I thought he, Mokaev would fuck his head up so much he'll look like Worf from Star Trek.
That too.
That's what I thought you were going with. I was like, I like that fucking.
In addition,
or make him blind like LeVar Burton. Hey, what the fuck? The only. I mean, Whoopi was there too, right? Whoopi was in Star Trek at some point, right? Whoopi Goldberg, but also there's a little bit of a paradox, right? because you've got LeVar Burton, who's in
Kunta.
space, blind, but then
Kunta in
Mondays and
space.
Friday he was teaching us how to read. How the fuck you gonna read when you blind? The fuck are we doing? What are we doing? I just want to know, what are we doing? Should not make any sense. But at least he was there. But also was in Roots, getting whipped
Yeah, Kunta.
by fucking Mr. Brady from the Brady Bunch. So as a kid, I was like, what the fuck? Like, we back here getting whipped, talking about Kunta Kente, but we're gonna make it to the future and know how to read, but be blind. What the fuck? What are we doing? So I don't know, man. The 80s were wild.
Oh
Fuck
my
yes.
god.
I love it. But yeah, so Mokayev, it's not gonna be pretty if you're a fan of Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson, I do believe, like you said, that Mr. Strummer, that he's gonna make it competitive. But I mean, Mokayev is just gonna wet fucking blanket the hell out of Charles Johnson. That's what I foresee.
Too much.
Yeah. So there we go. There's that. Now, this is a fun one, right? In the 145-pound division, we have the 12-4 JSP, Jonathan Pierce, right? Going against Mr. Finland, Makwan Amirakwani, right? So let's look at Pierce first. Pierce, JSP, coming out of Fight Ready in Arizona, the same cringy ass camp that fucking Cejudo comes from, same cringy ass camp that Pitbull comes from, and has that weird ass like gnome of a motherfucker, Eric Alserban, who's creepy as shit. He reminds me of the Leprechaun, that fucking guy. Like a weird, fucking tried ayahuasca one time and fucking had a weird impact and shit on him. And now he's here fucking, coaching fighters. I don't know anything about Eric Alserban prior to Henry Cejudo, so I don't, whatever. And I'm not trying to talk shit. But, oh, fuck, man. Like, if I close my eyes and I was just like that whole Henry Cejudo era of MMA being gone, like, I wouldn't miss it. Because, again, not that what's his face? Alserban is Josh Fabia. There have been worse coaches in MMA in the UFC, but Jesus Christ, man! Every time that I see Alserban, and they always make him into some kind of like a damn saint. He's always sitting in a chair with a light overhead, and they're like he's speaking, profound shit out of his whatever. I think it's full of shit, but he might be full of shit, but he does raise champions, right? Cejudo and Pitbull. So, and Pitbull regained his championship from none other than AJ McKee. So that's saying something. I thought AJ won, but that's another story.
I thought so too.
100%. So again, this is where Jonathan Pierce comes from, right? And Jonathan Pierce coming into the UFC via the Contender Series beat none other than CSW's Little Badger Jacob Rosales, which is, to KO. Yeah, man, we've bore witness to Jacob Rosales. You saw him as an amateur in U of MMA, right? He's been training with the Badger Ben Jones at CSW since he was, I think, 10. Holy shit, and he's got a fight coming up in LFA, so
that's a tough SOB.
Yes, he is. Him and his wife, Alondra Brown. So shout out to both of them, both LFA veterans in their own rights. But then Pierce loses to Joe Lozon, which that's what happens since fucking Joe Lozon, right? Put some respect on that dude's name. Then beats Kai Kamaka, right? Second round, ground and pound TKO win. Then gets a rear naked choke win over Omar Morales and a unanimous decision over Christian Rodriguez, right? So then let's look at Mr. Finland, right? And he's been in a little bit of controversy, but I will always forever check out his picture on Tapology because he just looks like
Like a
I don't know.
pimp.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. He's hailing out of Straight Blast in Ireland, right under Joran Canova. Um, you know, pre UFC, he's fighting Tom Duquesnoy, right? Or Duquesnoy, Duquesnoy. Jesus Christ, the pronunciation I got fucked up. But anyway, um, and then he's been there. You go. Oh, that's gonna pop the shit out of our friend Rogue Strummer. He's living for your laugh, so we're gonna keep that shit going. Duquesnoy,
Duquesnoy.
yeah, there you go. That just looks like there's a street in Culver City that's like that, and I was like, Duquesnoy. That's what I used to say as a kid. Apparently, I was in fucking Toby from Roots and the Blind Guy in the Future, nor the Reading Rainbow, because to me that's just like Noi. That's what I got. But okay, if you want to go Duquois or whatever the fuck, go ahead and have it. You probably drink your water with a fucking doily too. Jesus Christ. Pinkies up, motherfuckers. Uh, but anyway, so comes into the UFC at UFC on Fox 14 back in 2015. They're not even on Fox anymore. Don't fuck with Fox anymore. They're on that ESPN train, right? Beats Chris Fishgold in 2019, right? Do you remember?
Impressive.
Do you remember Chris Fishgold? Does that name come?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what do we know Chris Fishgold for?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I remember
and see, Rogue says, "Yep, Duke Noy. Okay, I got it. Okay, you have no idea. Let me fucking tell you. Right? Is and Fishgold is terrible. I don't like him. Okay, maybe this is not gonna go over well. But do you remember? Maybe I should have fucking kicked my audience. You guys are a perfect audience, but I should have read the fucking room. But I will say that. Do you remember when fucking Irish Dragon Paul Felder, right?
Yeah.
He fucking commentated and then cornered a dude because the rest of the fucking team ended up. That was Chris Fishgold that Paul Felder ended up cornering.
Oh yeah, I remember that guy now.
The first half of the card, and then I think it was like 3 fights in, and then he's like, "Hey, gentlemen, we'll be right back," and he fucking changes into the fight kick. So there you go. That adds to the legend of one Charles. Irish Dragon Paul Felder. So there you go.
Yeah.
But Jesus Christ, look at it. Shane Burgos lost. Danny Henry wins via anaconda choke, but Danny Henry versus the rest of the fucking names on this list. We got Edson Barboza, Kamwella Kirk, Leron Murphy, and Mike Grundy. Holy fucking shit. Holy fucking shit. They
Murderers
hate Mr. Finland. They hate Mr. Finland. They hate him.
Hey, they took a look at that tapology picture and they're like, get this fool, get his ass whooped.
Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ. Whew. You could have stopped. You could have stopped that Shane Burgos and fucking Edson Barboza, right? Again, go back. You don't know who fucking Edson Barboza is? That's fine. You cannot, right? But you will recognize that fucking wheel kick that he hit on Kerry Edom that knocked him fucking stiff, dead dick in the dirt. That Jesus.
Shadow Realm
shit, 100%. Yeah, so there you go, man. You know what? Just on the fucking experience and the guys that he's been in there with, as well as the bomb ass fucking Tapology picture, I'm going with Mr. Finland.
Hey, I'm gonna second you on that Jonathan Pierce, man. I hit you with a 50-50 on that one.
Okay.
Pierce is on a 3-fight winning streak. I believe he's figured something out. I believe he's linked very well with his corner to the point where I mean, you just don't, you just don't go on a 3-5 winning streak. It's not an easy thing to do. I mean, on top of that, in the UFC, are you serious? 3-5 winning streak in the UFC? Mind you, Marquand is a formidable opponent with tons of skill. If Marquand wins, he's going to win by submission, most definitely. Most definitely. Standing, it's going to be some different. When you come from Fight Ready MMA, some hands going to be waiting for you. Some hands going to be waiting for you. So now we want to think about what kind of wrestling defense is JSP coming with. This is the question that will be answered come Saturday. But I'm gonna bet my money on JSP anyway, just cause.
Yeah, and I mean to be honest with you, right? When you got Cejudo and Pitbull, right? You got to
Mhm.
imagine that he has wrestlers, to fucking, test his
Improve that
takedown
takedown
defense.
defense.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
there you go. No, 100%. So I mean, that could be very likely that you know we're looking at it, on Saturday, and Mr. Finland getting fucking toppled. That could be true, but I'm still gonna stick with it. And Mr. Finland has been through the fucking ringer recently on the socials, so I'm gonna go with Makwan. Right. So there you go. Now
Yeah.
this one. All right, we talked about all like a lot of these fights where could be match of the night and everything like that, right? Fight of the
Mhm.
night.
Mhm.
I think this is where this is like go to piss, uh, fucking part of the show, man. Because I to say I'm not really excited about this one is an understatement. But
Mhm. Mhm.
again, nothing, no disrespect to either competitor, but
Mhm.
it's weird because you got a former Cage Warriors champion, Nathaniel Wood, the prospect, right? But normally fights at bantamweight, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Going against none other than the Boston Strong Charles Rosa, right? Who's a natural featherweight, and this is a featherweight fight, right? So let's look at
Yeah.
Nathaniel Wood, the former Cage Warriors champion here, and again, mind you, he he loses. What is it? Fuck, I forgot it. Never, doesn't matter. Fucking doesn't matter.
Mhm.
But let's just look at
Mhm.
Nathaniel, right?
Mhm.
That was the one where I believe um, it was the thing that sent Sexy Mexi, Jonathan Castaneda, former Combate world champion, out of the
Mhm.
UFC, right? But Nathaniel has been in there with fucking Johnny Eduardo. That's where he makes his UFC debut, and he beats Eduardo by dart stroke, right? Then
Mhm. Mhm.
submits Andre Ewell. Holy shit! Business, like the great Jim Ross used to say, business is fitting to pick up. The shit did after those two slick submission wins, right? Then gets another one against Jose Alberto Quinones, right?
Mhm.
UFC on ESPN +5. Then loses to
Mhm.
former flyweight title contender John the Magician Dodson, but then rebounds with a win, a unanimous decision win, and his first unanimous decision in the UFC against Sexy Mexi Castaneda. Then he loses against former LFA champion Cassie Kenny, right? So
Pressure.
his last two fucking fights are two former champions. Combate Americas, at the time it was Americas, now it's global. Sexy
Mhm.
Mexi John Castaneda and former LFA
Mhm.
champion Casey Kenny, who Casey Kenny wins over the always tough, our guy, the anomaly, Vince Cachero. So, shit, that tells you all you
The
need to know about
anomaly.
Nathaniel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, Charles Rosa, and again, this is where I think it takes. Charles Rosa is durable, right? But he's not necessarily a finisher. I don't think. I think, he'll decision the shit out of you, which he hasn't. Like, he hasn't he hasn't fucking finished somebody since Manny Bermudez. Like Manny the Menace Bermudez, right? Like at that time where the Bermuda's Triangle, that's what they're calling him. But I forgot that Manny Bermudez in 2019. I forgot Manny Bermudez was even in the UFC roster, and that's no disrespect to Manny, but Jesus Christ, man, you know,
Things change.
yeah, and again, Manny Bermudez actually his last fight in the UFC, right, was against Charles Rosa. Crazy enough, right, where he lost via armbar. Okay, so that's what we got here. Now we've got Charles again. Charles Rosa, ardent fucking fighter, right? He knows how to get it done, but he to say he's not looking for a finish, right? Like he it's it for as long as Charles Rosa has been on the UFC roster. Name one UFC. Husky was just in here talking about the UFC video games, right? Name one fucking UFC video game that Charles Rosa is in. I'll wait, because there's been 2 released since, and a DLC pack with Meatball Molly and fucking Patty, right? That's been released. Nothing for Charles Rosa, right? And he's had wins over tough guys, right?
Yep.
But what has he done to capitalize on it? Name one Charles Rosa interview. And I'm not saying that it has to be all about it, but again, you're kind of taking up a spot. If you're not in title contention, right, and you're not captivating an audience, you're just another guy. And you disagree?
No. That was deep.
Yeah.
That was deep. I was agreeing with you.
No, yeah. And that's my deal, right? Where, just cashing checks and whatever, that's if that's what you are to do, I guess it's okay. But considering all of the physical, mental, emotional damage MMA can play on one psyche, and especially if you have as many fights as one Charles Boston Strong Rosa does, there's going to be some CTE. There's going to be some brain damage. Not everybody is a fucking Josh Barnett, who, is a Voodoo Maximus, is even a Joe Rogan.
So eloquently.
Right, Joe Rogan. There's so many, Ian McCall. Look at what he's doing with, the hallucinogenics to try and rework your brain. But he was pretty fucking, he will be the first person to tell you he was bad off. That's why he fucking went the way that he did. And it's proving positive for a lot of fighters and athletes and ex-military servicemen. So shout out to Uncle Creepy Ian McCall, right? But again, he's not even a gatekeeper, right? Because again, it's not a big enough a name to even put himself in a UFC video game, despite being in the UFC since 2014. That's 8 years, a decade. Most people don't even stay on their jobs 8 years in this day and age, right? But he's been in the UFC fighting Dennis Seaver, fucking Sean Soriano, El Pantera, Yair Rodriguez, Kyle Bonchak, Shane Burgos, Manny Bermudez, Thug Nasty, Bryce Mitchell, right? Kevin Aguilar, Derek Minner, who looks like fucking the incarnate of Bam Bam Terry Gordy, Justin James, Damon Jackson, TJ Brown, right? Even competing in a grappling match at Titan FC against Julio Cesar Chavez. Not that one, but that'd
not
be
the
wild.
Same one.
Yeah, like the fucking world champion, one of my favorite fighters of all fucking time, Julio Cesar Chavez. At 60 years old, fucking, it's like come here, mijo, I'm gonna grapple. Like, I don't know. That worked out in my head, but that, again, should Charles Rosa win, and I feel like he's going to. What bearing does that have on the featherweight division in the UFC? Right? Like, at the age that he is and the miles on his body that Charles Rosa has accumulated, I want Nathaniel Wood to win because it'll mean more to Nathaniel Wood than it would to Charles Rosa. Charles Rosa wins, we're not going to get a great interview. We're probably
Mm.
more likely than not going to get a finish. Is he going to be in the next UFC video game after missing 2 and a DLC pack?
No.
Is anything that he says or does after the rest of this fight card that is, again, we're in England, right? And there's a lot of European talent, right? And him being an American, Boston strong, right? We're gonna see a lot of fabulous things, right? That even if
Mm.
Charles Rosa got a fucking third round KO, right, bloodied and shit like that, to the extent of a Forrest Griffin, Stephen Barner type proportion, right? Maybe, only maybe, does that you get the attention that somebody of his career stature and experience deserves, right? But if that doesn't happen, it'll just be on to the next. So with that being said, I want Nathaniel Wood to win, and I don't think he's going to finish him because Charles Rosa is too strong. He is a fighter's fighter, is Charles Rosa. But I hope Nathaniel Wood gets not a unanimous decision. I say it's a split decision. But even if it's a decision, I almost want to give it to fucking Rosa because that's what he does. He's got a black belt in fucking decisions, losing them and winning them both. But what say you, Peter?
I second that Nathaniel Woods. I believe Nathaniel Woods striking is crisper. Charles Rosa is a complete mixed martial artist. Everything's all technique are even. There is no one greater technique than another in Charles Rosa. But Nathaniel Woods, his boxing is very, very good. Very, very sharp, clean, crisp, precise. Timing is good. Rosa is good as well. But I believe Nathaniel Wood is the better striker. In an attempt to go to the ground, I think Nathaniel Wood will have enough to defend the takedown and keep the fight standing.
Yeah,
Rosa will get some. He will get some ground time, but I do not believe he'll finish. And I don't. I'm not mad at a split decision victory for Nathaniel Woods here. Not at all.
Yeah, it's slow to finish. That's never been said about me, especially if you ask the wife. So quick draw McGraw. But that's another story for another fucking day. Yeah, I'm hoping, hoping for one Nathaniel Wood to kind of, etch out a victory. We will see come Saturday night, And Mick Mack says, in terms of a guy that he's hoping is okay. He's the great Steve Kaufman, editor of so many shows that you know and love. The Orange Show, Eric Bischoff Show, Jim Ross Show. There's so many shows that Steve Kaufman does. But it's like, I hope Steve Kaufman is okay, and that I can confirm that he's okay because I actually got video evidence him at San Diego Comic-Con tonight. That's why he missed the After 83 Week show with George Ramosa, Christy Olsen, and the great Eric Bischoff. So that's where Steve is, and Steve rules. Yes, we need to make that shirt. Steve rules, 100%.
Yeah.
So kind of moving on, right? We got none other than Damir Hadzovic, right? 14-6, going up against the British gentleman, Mark Dicasse, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, his origins are befitting of not just being an Englishman, but he does reside in England, right? But we're going with the Bosnian Bomber first, which that doesn't age well. Bosnian Bomber, but it is what it is. We've had war machines, war masters, monsters, evil things. So, yeah, the Bosnian Bomber, 14-6, is this gentleman, right? Coming to the UFC way back in 2016, right? Now, mind you, Jesus Christ, this makes me so happy to bring up this one. But the Nader, Venator FC. That's where Demir was fighting right before he ends up in the UFC, right? Which a lot
Right,
of people
right.
don't don't remember Venator, but that shit was out of Italy, man. Like, and it might have been one of the casualties, you know,
Of
because of
COVID.
COVID, right? Absolutely. But this first one, Jesus Christ, bro, this shit was the 5th of I'm sorry, the 30th of May in 2015, but
Mm.
it was basically headlined by Christian Binda. Doesn't ring a bell, but Matsukatsu Imanari, the inventor of the fucking Imanari roll.
Illinois roll.
That's who fucking, and you even have a young, looks like Vittori. Yeah, Vittori's on here too. That was Venator, man.
Mm.
Vittori beat Daniel Scatizzi via unanimous decision. But yeah, man, like right there, right in uh Hadzovic,
Mhm.
Hadzovic, Rachel Cummings, right, and Vittori, as well as Matsukat, the legend that is Matsukatsu Imanari, right? They're all on the fucking card, man. Like, shout out to Venator, man. Like, they don't get the credit that I feel that they deserve, man.
Mm.
I was watching the fucking streams way back in 2015, so that just
Yeah.
shows you my MMA fucking head. That's why I was like, he's a Venator veteran, and especially the first one, right? It's so studded it was. So that's Hadzovic, right? He KOs Marcin Held, loses unanimous decision to Alan Patrick. Uh,
Mm.
loses. Beats Nick Hine by a split decision, but KOs Polo Reyes, right? Then loses
Yep.
to our dude, the Spartan Christos Iago, and then
Yagos.
yeah, and Hanato Makano, right? But then comes out on the winning end of things again, etching his place in the win column over the veteran Yancy Medeiros, who's you know
Significant win right there.
the Hawaiian man,
It's a
Hawaiian
good.
eye,
It's a good bounce back.
yeah,
It's a very good bounce back for him.
yeah. So I mean that is the mirror, right? Then now we're gonna look at Dikase, 15 and
Mm-hmm.
5, who Jesus Christ, man, Dikase's been here for a while, and
Yep.
Dikase, right? Everything that I was saying about fucking Charles Rosa, that's
Mm-hmm.
not Dikase. Dikase has been on the fucking last 2 video games, at the very least, the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's in UFC 4 because I learned to move from him because you got to learn moves. You
Mm-hmm.
kick ass, you get money, and you learn moves from the UFC pros. So I think I learned a flying knee from Dikase. But in any event,
Mm-hmm.
the Bone Crusher, training out of American
Bone
Top Team,
crusher.
has been there with the likes of Joe Duffy, Lando Venata, Rafael Fizev, Rafael
Mm-hmm.
Alves. Man, just a back to back of the Rafaels, Fizev and Alves back to back, and loses both of them, unfortunately, right? Unfortunately for him, but fortunate for his respective opponents, right? Been in there with Nasrat Hopscross, Dad Hangman Hooker, Rickard Kloss, right? Um,
Significant.
yeah, man, that's he's been in here, man, and even before UFC, he fights in Bama again. Another one. They went away way before COVID, but that was another organization that was a formative. A lot of top tier talent that are making their applying their trade in MMA in all promotions around the world. A lot of them got their start in Bama. Even some Hall of Famers that you know and love. So that's amazing, right? But Dikase, man, he's one that you instantly recognize if you've seen one of his fights. But in terms of what he is, right? Is he a gatekeeper? Is he a I don't know. There's a lot of questions even still with he's achieved, being in the UFC 6 years. He achieved veteran status, right? At the very least, right?
Mm-hmm.
But is he challenging for a title? Is he, what's going on? But one thing that is happening is he's cashing those fucking checks from the royalties from his UFC game appearances. So he's got that at least.
At least. At least. Um, their records are even. The style of, well, the type of opponents they've had, I'll say that that's even as well. I can go 50-50 with you on this one.
Yeah.
Who you got?
So I'm getting Bone Crusher. I like it.
Okay.
I like Bone Crusher.
Okay. I'll take the other fella, Damir. No
Okay.
problem.
Yeah, that works. I like it. But before we go into the next fight, we're going to Micmac with the jokester with the moster. He says, "What's worse, buying an ice cream and one scoop falls off, or missing an item on your food order?" So take it away.
Missing an item on a food order will be worse.
And what would be that food order completely, and what is missing?
In and out burger, animal style, those fries, and missing milkshake, vanilla milkshake.
And which
Yeah.
item did they forget?
They forgot the vanilla milkshake,
Ooh, that's
so
heat.
I have to go raise hell.
Yeah, that's fucking
Where's
heat.
my mother milkshake?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm going with In and Out, but I also wouldn't be mad if they lost the fries.
Hey,
Say-
speaking of In and Out, I owe you an In and Out. You and Simon Steve. I owe you
Woo!
guys In and Out. I haven't forgotten.
Well, yes, but also Shaman Steve. I don't know if he might have like a 20 by 20 all fucking protein style. The beast that he is. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Shaman Steve, we definitely gotta hook up with according
Yeah.
to Woods
100%.
for that move. We
I am
still gotta
down.
do that one.
I'm so down.
Hey,
I'm
that's
so
been
down.
that's been since
Like we started the show.
it was during the pandemic.
Yeah.
It was definitely
And-
during the pandemic.
And we also
Yeah,
gotta
yeah.
take that hike. 100%.
We gotta,
I'm
yeah,
down.
we gotta get a hiking. We gotta get a
Hell
hiking.
yes. I'm down.
Most definitely.
You could call me
Definitely gotta get a hiking.
Puff Daddy, because I'm gonna be puffy and probably die at the end of it, but it'll be fun. It'll be a cool story, bro. Just say.
Where would you?
Yeah.
Hey, Shaman Steve, where would you suggest for Adam Woods? You
I'll
don't
go
hike
wherever
very
the fuck
often, right,
y'all
Adam?
go. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
It gets rough out there.
Oh,
It gets rough
I
out there in
know.
the
I
Angeles
know
Prep.
I'm gonna get fucking blisters on my toes, in between my toes, blisters on my asshole. Shit. Damn. Blisters that that was very specific. Anyway, moving on. Moving on. We have Ludwig Klein. Holy shit.
Mhm.
This is
Yep.
woo! Business is
It's
fucking
going down.
Yes.
It's
The
the highlight.
150 Yes. Ludwig Klein, 18-4, going up against the Welshman, right? From
Mhm.
Wales, Mason Jones, 11-1. These are two
Mhm.
that who came into prominence during the pandemic era of the UFC.
Yeah.
Man, I love this
Yeah.
shit. So let's go with the Dragon Mason Jones, right?
Okay.
Obviously, just the last time he was in the octagon, he beat via unanimous decision. Onama, what's my name?
Yeah.
David Onama, right? But then prior to that, he went to a no contest with Alan Patrick, right? And then also lost his UFC debut against Mike Davis, right? So tough
Mhm.
go. But prior to that,
Mhm.
he spent a large part of his career, almost the entirety of his career, in Cage Warriors, making his debut at Cage Warriors 87 back in 2017, and last fighting in Cage Warriors in 2020. So he had a 3-year run, almost unanimous 3-year run if he didn't take that Adrenaline Fight Nights fight right after in his second fight. But again,
Mhm.
sans one fight, he spent the entirety of his pre-UFC career in Cage Warriors, right? So shout out to Cage Warriors for producing another top tier talent. But speaking of top tier talent, man, Ludwig Klein. I'm so excited to see this guy fucking fight, dude. Like, I think this could be the fight of the night, 100%.
It's on the list.
It's on the
That's our
fucking list.
first potential.
Yeah, 100%. It might even be better than the fucking main event, to be honest with you, in terms of
Wouldn't be
fight.
mad at it.
Yeah,
Wouldn't be
not
mad
at
at
all.
it.
But obviously, Ludwig Klein makes his UFC debut against Shane Young on the undercard of the Paulo Costa Israel Adesanya UFC 253 card. But then after the win, initial win over Shane Young, and a finish as well, he basically he loses a unanimous decision to Mike Trizano, and then
Hmm.
um, gets Anaconda choked by Nate Landwehr, and I remember that because his fucking
Freight
eyes.
train.
Yeah, he got fucking his eyes were bulging out of his head and all that shit, man. But then beats Devontae Smith via split decision, and now he's got Mason Jones.
Hmm.
Fuck, man. I feel like I'm going
Tough to choose, huh?
Layden, yeah. I like both of these guys. I fucking really do. I really do
Mhm.
like both of these dudes.
The
They've
only way
proven.
we can honor them is by going 50-50.
Okay, so let's
You know what I
say
mean?
late second round Ludwig Klein KO. That's what I'm gonna go with. What say you?
Okay. You go with Klein.
Yeah,
I'll take the other fella because definitely fight of the night candidate. They're gonna bring the pain because they want to impress. See, these two fellas, they're not really household names yet, and
they
because
will
of
be
that,
after this fucking fight.
yeah, they just got to go out there and perform. That's what it is. They got to go out there and perform. Mason definitely wants to be number 52, and Klein wants to keep that number 52 standard. So
Mhm.
they're gonna go out there and they're gonna bang it out. The good thing is they're both lightweight, and for 15 minutes we're gonna see some serious action. So I'll go with Mason Jones, no
Yeah,
problem.
no,
Hmm.
I like it either way, man.
Me
I
too.
just dig. I dig both of these guys. Like, I kind of wish they weren't fighting each other because like
Yeah,
one has to win, one has to lose. But I
yeah,
mean, I
yeah.
know it's going to be a phenomenal fight. And Chubb and
And it's
Steve,
the name of the game.
yeah, 100%. Speaking of the name of the game, uh, you guys are going to drag me deep into the woods. Yeah, so there you go. I like it. Wordplay here. But then, so we got the Bear Jew, 16-4-1, Paul Craig against former UFC light heavyweight title contender Volkan Ozdemir, right?
Mhm.
So let's
Mhm.
look at. I mean, Paul Craig. Not to say there hadn't been any fighter who had, you know, basically lay claim to the COVID era of UFC, events, right?
Mhm.
Because you have Hamzat, you have, you know, Poirier fucking taking the money and fighting Connor twice. There's been a
Mhm.
lot of unsung heroes in terms of the guys and girls that have made their debuts that are headlining or co-headlining cards or have numbers next to their names and shit like that. And even though Paul Craig had been in the UFC a bit before COVID happened, right? Because he makes his UFC debut against Luis Henrique de
Mhm.
Silva way back on Fox UFC on Fox 22 in 2016,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Um, but he really, for me, when I started to know his name was
Mhm.
during COVID, right?
Mhm.
And even
Mhm.
before that, I mean, he triangle choked Kennedy Nunchukwu, right? Did
Mhm.
I say that right?
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. That's because I do the fucking Voodoo Maximus the Voodoo Maximus name pronunciation classes for one easy payments of $9.99.99 to four easy payments of $4.99.99. Which if you fucking pay in payments, it's double the price. So don't forget. But that's why I can say nunchuku. Yeah, 100%. Um, but yeah, fucking Paul Craig, right? Beat
Mhm.
Shogun, right? Even before
Significant.
that, on the very first UFC, COVID show, I believe that was one of
Mhm.
the Jacksonville shows, right?
Mm-hmm.
He scored a a triangle choke, right? Then he
Mm-hmm.
fucking tapped to strikes the great Shogun Rua, former UFC heavyweight champion, right? Fucking fucks up Jamal Hill, fucks up Nikita Krylov. Like literally in COVID era UFC, he's undefeated, 5 straight wins.
Hey,
Or four, yeah, five
you
straight
said
wins.
you said he fucked up Jamal Hill. He broke his fucking hand.
Yeah, he did.
He broke his arm, not his hand,
Mm,
his arm. Broke his damn arm. Remember that?
mm, yeah, it's fucking gruesome. Yeah, that's a
The
fucking
guy's
Paul
an
Craig.
animal. The
Yeah,
guy's an
like
animal.
whatever fucking animal bear Jew is, I don't understand that. I hope it's not offensive.
Hey, let
Like,
me tell you something. Volkan Ozdemir better knock him out in the first round because if you don't finish him in the first, there's a highest probability that Paul Craig is going to sub you, and that's what usually happens. I am going with Paul Craig, but I believe Paul Craig will make it out of the first round. I truly believe it.
mm,
I don't believe he's going to get clipped. He's just gonna run. Nothing wrong with running in a 15-minute match. As long as he gets out of that first round, he'll be fine. And I wouldn't be mad at a finish in the third round
yeah.
against Volkan Ozdemir. I wouldn't be mad at it.
So the thing with Ozdemir, right? Because
Hmm.
obviously, makes his UFC debut against OSP over St. Preux, right? And
Yeah,
KO victory over Misha Kurkunov, right? And then Jimmy
right.
Manuwa again, another first round, 20
Beautiful
solid,
knockout, by the way.
yeah, 100%. And then that propels him to a title fight with Daniel Cormier, where she loses, right? And he was on such a fucking streak, right? Literally, um, even lost to a friend of the show, Kelly Unson, right? Catch wrestling
Hmm.
aficionado. Shout out to
Hmm.
Kelly and his wife. Uh, his wife is fucking tearing up the MMA scene in the way that he used to do when he still competed. But in any event, right? Ozdemir, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fight win streak in two different sports. That's
Hmm.
kickboxing and MMA, respectively, right? So
Hmm.
almost heading into the double-digit win streak, right? But
Hmm.
then
Hmm.
that propels him to the title fight with Daniel Cormier, where he gets manhandled by DC, the Great, or
Hmm.
DC,
Hmm.
right? So
Ground and pound.
then he just has the fucking can't stop won't stop with former championship title holders and then the championship contenders because he faces Anthony Lionheart Smith and the Dominator. Oh no, I'm sorry, not the Dominator. He's not the Dominator, but Dominic Reyes, right? The
Hmm.
Devastator. That's
Devastated. That's right.
Devastator. Yeah, I knew it was one
Hmm.
of them.
Hmm.
But yeah, but then has rebounded and beat Ilir Latifi, who might as well be his version of the world's version of Yoel Romero, just stocky as shit. And then beats Alexander Ronkick until he meets Jiri Prochazka, right? The current UFC light heavyweight champion, right? And that was that fucking vicious overhand right that Jiri administered to Volkan Ozdemir, right? And after that, faces Magomed Ankalaev, I should say, right? And can't get it
Hmm.
together, can't pull off a win. So it's a pretty far fall from grace for
Yep.
one Volkan Ozdemir, and I think it gets even worse with the Bear Jew Paul Craig. So, yeah, pure second round submission,
I'm not mad at it, man. Bear
and I
Jew
think
all day.
you did KO, second round KO.
Ground and pound.
Yeah, TKO.
I got the Bear Jew.
I like it. I like it.
Hmm.
So as we kind of move on, we have Meatball Molly McCann against Hannah Goldie. Again, another women's flyweight fight, and again has fight of the night potentially written all over it too. So let's look at
Yeah.
Hannah Goldie, right? Hannah Goldie 6-2 is 24K. Hannah Goldie, right? Nice play on the words. Hannah Goldie
Mm.
24K. Dig it,
Okay.
dig it. I see
Okay.
where you go with it.
Okay.
But
I can
beat
dig it.
yeah, beat Callie Robbins via unanimous decision way back in Dana White's Contender Series 2019, right?
Hmm.
Then faces in her UFC debut Miranda Danger Granger, and that was a unanimous decision loss. Then loses to Diana Belvita, right? But then rebounds and beats Emily Whitmer via armbar in the very first round, right? Now we
Yes.
look at Meatball Molly, which the MMA kind of community isn't isn't too fond of Meatball Molly, especially after her antics with her teammate Patty Pimblett. You know, either you love them or you fucking think they're the annoyingest motherfucking people on earth. But in any event, you know, Meatball Molly kind of was. I mean, there was a stretch where we were kind of questioning Meatball Molly. I'm in a different Twitter group, and every time Meatball Molly fought, it wasn't great. It's like, oh fuck, we have to suffer through Meatball Molly matches again, you know. And I was like, got it. That the hate is real, right? But been in there with Jillian Robinson, beat Priscilla Cachoeira, Aaron Lipsky, Diana Belbita, even Abby O'Toole in Grapple Fest 7, which is an all grappling match, but then falls short and loses to Talia Santos en route to Talia's own UFC title prospect territory, right? And then
Hmm.
also lost to Laura Fritzen, right? But then turns it around, beats Jin Yon Kim the unanimous decision and hits a vicious spinning back elbow to Luana Carolina, right? So
Hmm.
that's Meatball Molly. Now going over to Hannah Goldie, right? 6-2 is Hannah Goldie, and yeah, we already went through this. The Belbita, Granger losses, and then rebounds with Whitmer.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um, shit. I almost feel like Meatball Molly, right? Because this is going to be a live crowd, right? Going to be
Yeah.
a live crowd. Meatball Molly is English, right? The crowd
Hmm.
is going to be mostly English. That shit is going to
Hmm.
be. You remember when fucking Conor McGregor fought in Ireland?
Yes.
I think that's going to be that. It's going to
It
be
was
the
bananas.
yeah, like Pat Patterson say, banana. They throw the
Hmm.
baby in the air and they throw banana. And hey, yeah. So
Understand that this particular matchup is going to be a stand-up war.
yes, it
Molly
is.
McCain versus Hannah Goldie. It's going to be a boxing match. They're going to stand. They're going to trade. They're going to bang. Pressure's going to be on McCain, but at the same time, the crowd will be behind McCain since she is fighting a Yankee. Uh, I will go with Molly McCain to win this one by split decision or unanimous decision. I don't see her finishing. Don't see her finishing. And if she pushes too hard on the finish, she will get knocked out. I do not believe she wants to lose at home. She would like to finish, but I truly believe, excuse me, she will settle for not a submission, but a unanimous decision victory or a split decision victory. Molly McCain.
Yeah, I think that crowd, knowing what we know, right? Obviously, Connor in Ireland, or anytime, Connor fights, a large, percentage of Irish fans fly over to wherever he fights, right? Um, and then also, who there was somebody else that was like homegrown, and they fought, in their home territory, and it just Jose Aldo in fucking Brazil,
Oh, right,
like that shit, right? So
yeah.
or even a WWE, after WrestleMania Raw, right? That's the wildest night of the fucking year, right? So all of
Yeah.
those attributes prove to me that even though it might not be pretty, or there might be speculative judging, or if Bruce Ruffer, assuming Bruce Ruffer is doing the announcing, it's either Bruce or Joel Martinez. But in any event,
Hmm.
that's when shit's gonna get wild. So
Hmm.
for that reason, I feel like Meatball Molly is the way to go.
And Meatball Molly, even though I can't understand jack shit what she's talking about, or Patsy Pimblett, cannot understand, and I do not care to understand. It is what it is. She's still, I believe she's still the better boxer, and she will make this clear come Saturday.
No, 100%. Now, a couple of questions before we move on.
Okay,
Actually, one is a statement. McMack says, I'm too cool for school. And
I
also,
totally believe you.
yep, and Voodoo, are you wearing lime green or is that the light?
I am lime green, first of all, and on top of that, I am wearing lime green on the inside, and this shirt also is lime green. I didn't plan that, by the way. This is the first hoodie that I was able to grab. It just so happened to have a lime green lining on the inside.
Last time I had anything lime green on me, it was after I ate a damn ice cream and it came out in the other way. But that's, again, another story for another day. Um, as we kind of move on, right? We have uh, Nikita Krylov against former
Mm,
UFC title contender, light heavyweight title contender, who I thought had retired, but 18-7, Alexander Gustafsson, right?
mm,
We respect everything Alexander Gustafsson has done, but I could have sworn that dude was retired. And you would
mm,
probably want to stay retired when you're staring out the opposite end of the octagon at the minor
mm,
Nikita Krylov, right? So,
mm.
in terms of who Alexander Gustafsson is via his fight, right? What does it mean to be 18-7, right? So here's how he
Yeah.
got here, right? Uh, was in the UFC, has been in the UFC since 2009, right?
Mm-hmm.
Facing the likes of Phil Davis, Cyril Debate, James Tahuna, Mark Hamill, Vladimir Matushenko, Thiago Silva, Shogun Hua, losing to John Jones, right? Beats Jimmy Manoa, loses to Anthony Rumble Johnson, loses to Daniel Cormier, but then rebounds to future uh, UFC light heavyweight champion Jan Blachowicz, right? And then beats Glover Teixeira. That fucking 5 round fucking KO of Glover that we can't soon forget back in 2017. And then John
Mm-hmm.
Jones, Anthony Smith, right? And Fabricio we're doing, kind of running it all down. Man, oh man, I feel like that's why I'm going to pick this gentleman. Nothing against Krylov, but I think I'm actually nothing against Gustafson. I'm going with Krylov. I feel like
Yeah.
Gustafson's time in the sun is done. I could be
Yeah,
wrong, but that's what I'm feeling.
I see why you say that. Gustafson, he had a hard time at this weight class, light heavyweight, when John Jones was around. So he left. He went to heavyweight. Heavyweight didn't really work out. Those guys were too big. They kept him down, and they held him down. Now he's back at 205. What's the weight cut like? All this will be significant in the match. Yes, Alexander is a precision striker, but Nikolai's younger. Let me see. How old is Alexander again? Alexander
Alexander's
is
got to be mid 30s.
about
If he's not,
35. Yes,
yeah,
you're absolutely right. He's 35, and his opponent Krylov should be in his 20s, I believe. Let me see. Krylov is he's 30. Okay, 5 years. He's humongous. You know how many more fights he can fight in those 5 years? And he's representing Ukraine, So he's gonna be compelled and driven to perform and get on that mic and say something about Ukraine. I'm sure he wants to do it, and I'm sure it's gonna be a huge motivational factor in his performance. So he's gonna be on the world stage, the biggest stage of all, and it is what it is. But at the same time, I will second your Nikita Krylov to win this match by split decision. Alexander Gustafsson is a phenomenal athlete, but I also second your notion that his time has come. His time has come. So Nikita, Nikita
Yeah,
by split decision.
yeah, I feel like Gustafsson is just a lamb to the slaughter. You know, not to say that he isn't a great fighter, but I think he's got his 1 foot out the door, and that's not great to have against the young gun. But also, Gustafsson has been the guy to kind of prove us wrong at times, so he does have that capability in him. But I
Hmm.
don't, I don't think that's the particular case. I think Karlov gets the fucking break speed off of him.
And go ahead and prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. The problem is he's yet to prove me wrong. So Saturday he gets that opportunity, and we will see. We will see.
We will see. It's
Hmm.
like went John Cena and they couldn't see me for a little bit. Close the wrong damn tab. But speaking of tabs, holy shit, we're gonna get some ridiculousness in this motherfucking fight, right? Because
Hmm.
we got Jordan the Monkey King Levitt against Patty the Batty, former Cage Warriors champion Patty Pimblett. Holy fuck! So Jordan Levitt, 10-1, right? Is the Monkey King, right? Just fucking freak
Hmm.
nasty and grinding and twerking on everybody, right? Uh, he actually beat Johnny Walker via heel hook. Not that Johnny
Yes.
Walker, unfortunately, uh,
Yes.
but a Johnny Walker. He heel hooked him. Roy Ostrander.
Hmm.
Jesus, the Las Vegas born and raised Jordan Lovett has been there with a lot of fucking veterans, right? But the thing about it is, oh man, the Monkey King, he's going up
Hmm.
against Patty Pimblett, right? Like
Hmm.
if you were Jordan Levitt and you're like the UFC is fucking strapping a rocket to my ass, I'm going to be the next big fucking thing. And then in walks in Patty Pimblett, you'd be pissed off because Patty's gonna
Hmm.
get all the shit that you were promised, all the shit that the promoter said to you, or whatever. That we're gonna honor your contract here, pay you more money there. That shit didn't happen, right?
Hmm.
And again, I'm speaking with hypotheticals, but that's where we are. Um,
That shit didn't happen.
yeah, I think Patty gets his unanimous decision, right? And the reason why is with a very, I mean, they're already in England, and it's going to be a very pro England crowd. That if this even went to the cards, there's no dispute in my mind. It's coming out by way of Pimblett.
A Pimblet. Hmm.
Yeah, 100%.
Hmm. This is gonna be a very good match. Uh, um, what's the other fellow's name? Uh, the Monkey King.
Yeah,
This
Jordan.
fella here, yeah, Jordan Levitt. This fella here is going to perform at the highest level that he can reach thus far. He will perform at that level, and he will do his best to give you a match. I believe Patty Pimblett uh, might not initiate the takedown first, but Jordan might. And when they engage in that clinch, or Jason has gotten a hold of his hips, I believe the jiu-jitsu game is going to nullify itself in the first and second round, and then in the third round, those hands are going to fly, and they're going to see who truly is the best out of the two. Uh, is Jordan going to pick up the number 36 ranking, or is Pimblett going to retain the 36 ranking? We will see. This
Well,
one, this one right here, I'm going with Jordan
okay.
Levitt on this one. Um, Patty Pimblett, I just don't like the way he talks. I don't like it. I don't like the way he talks. I don't like his habits. You fight at 145 and you go all the way up into the 200s. That tells me about you as an individual. Right now, he's able to take advantage of his youth in regards to cutting weight, right? Cutting weight. When he takes advantage and he's cutting weight like that, it's doable for now. But ultimately, It's not gonna that ability is not going to be there for long. It's not going to be there for long. Once he starts getting into his 30s, 32s, 33s, sport is gonna start changing. It's like a motor vehicle, a Lamborghini that you don't take care of. It's gonna perform, but sooner or later, it's going to break down. And Paddy Pimblett, sooner or later, he will break down, and he will have wasted a wonderful career. He would have wasted God-given talent, and it will be unfortunate. All this because he enjoys eating junk. I cannot support a fighter like that because he is unpredictable. Though he will bring, though it is due to him that the arena is filled up, those
Yeah.
people cannot help him. They cannot get in that ring and help him and make him do better and win the match. He's going to have to dig deep. Yeah, they would cheer him on, and you can get a boost of energy from that. But I think Levitt is the one to win this match. He's the one to stop the hype train, and we'll see that on Saturday.
Ooh, that's some crazy. I mean, not crazy words, but that's a pretty cool take that you got. I like it. I like it. So, in terms of what we got left, right? You got none other than the Wait on, let me try that again. First time ever. This is the main events of the evening. We have the Action Man, former CES champion, the Action Man
Mm-hmm.
Chris Curtis, 29 and
Mm-hmm.
8, going against the
Mm-hmm.
Joker, Jack Hermanson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's
Mm-hmm.
22 and 7. Chris Curtis,
Mm-hmm.
again, so long it took him to get to the UFC. This is a dude who's a, you know, two-time Fight Night champ, a one-time CES champ over on the East Coast, former student of Team Quest in Temecula, California, with the great um, Dan Henderson and the rest of the crew there, right? Um, Breaks his hand on his first entry into the Dana White Contender Series. Opening stanza, he fucking punches a dude right in the damn skull, breaks his
Mm-hmm.
hand, and still manages to fucking KO his opponent. It wasn't pretty, but it fucking gets that shit done. And
Mm-hmm.
that even begins like a um, what's it? I think Steven Seagal fucking chimed in and was like, I taught him that. Fuck you. Shawn Michaels taught him that.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, yeah, because Chris Curtis is a fucking wrestling fan, so we've talked many a time. So there's that, right? Now, fucking Jacker joke. Jacker joked Hermanson. That's what I was gonna go with, but
Mm-hmm.
Joker Jack Hermanson is more like it. Um, Jesus, man, his submission game is very fucking scary. As
Yes.
is Chris Curtis, though. But this is American wrestling, maybe defense in the instance of in the instance of fucking this dude, Chris Curtis. Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Good, but Hermanson is just he remind. I mean, I want to say that there's a lot of the what's his name, dude I call Nosferatu, big ass heavyweight that just grapples the shit out of everyone, like Anaconda. You know what I'm talking about, right? He's got like
Yes.
39 wins in the UFC or in
He's
MMA.
almost like 50 fights in the UFC or something
Yeah,
like that. I know
yeah.
that guy.
God, I forgot his name. But anyway, that's kind of who we got here in terms of Hermanson, like fight styles. Like even the stance is a little bit different. But I gotta go with home team, man. I got fucking the action man Chris Curtis. This dude has wanted it for so long. He was able, when he was still living here in LA or the Southern California area, right? Helped out with classes at Dan Henderson. He did everything. His life is all about fight, right? So I want to go. This is where I get a little bit patriotic, but also the dude's a friend. I'm going with Chris Curtis over Jack
I'm going with
Hermanson.
Chris Curtis as well.
Yeah.
I'm going with Chris Curtis as well. Just like you said, he's had a long road. His was the hardest. His road was the hardest to the UFC. Many people that he has defeated in the past have made it to the UFC, and yet he's on the regional scene trying to get his way in. But as you can see, upon arrival, Phil Hawes was the first one to feel that knockout in the first round. Brennan Allen, ask him. He knows what's up. He knows what's up. Vieira also knows what's up. Now Jack Hermanson about to know what's up. I think takedown defense is going to be optimal. Um, Sticking to the game plan is what he does very well. Uh, Sticking to his strength is something that he does really well. And it's going to happen, and he's going to win, and we're going to move on to the next one.
Hell yes. Which is the main event of the evening. We have uh, Curtis Razor Blades. He's not a UFC title contender, but he's the motherfucker when Brock Lesnar stormed the cage after Daniel Cormier's vicious KO over Stipe Miocic. He was the first
Mm-hmm.
one to tell Dana, I, and I'm not making fun of the stutter. I'm sorry, because he got a friend of the show, Cat Pap Rocky, who's in the is in the current season of the Ultimate Fighter, and she's got a mean stutter and is working through it. So, I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
used to fucking have a stutter really bad. So, as did my dad, and my nephew also has some of that. So, it could be genetic or whatever. That's some tough shit, right? So, shout out to Curtis Blades for that. But am I a Curtis Blades fan? Not necessarily. That dude looks like the fucking missing link in the evolutionary fucking, uh, you know, yeah, he looks like the fucking missing link. It's wild. Like his head ratio to the hair, is he's just there's not anything there for me. Like, he's like, oh, I'm a straight martial artist and shit like that. Okay, bud. Even Dana White told your ass like, okay, you know what you do for fucking straight martial artists with your judo pedigree? They're teaching judo in a fucking strip mall somewhere in middle America. Just fucking shut his
Mm-hmm.
shit down, right? Um, but on the other side, right, he is tough. He is tough. Is Curtis Blades, but is he Tom Aspinall tough? Again, 12-2 is Tom Aspinall. He is somebody that again made his name in Dana White's Contender Series and never looked back, and that was him and Jake Collier, where he beats Collier in 45 seconds of the first round. But that was that era of guys that were coming into their own during the pandemic, earning their spot. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I could tell you about Tom Aspinall and how he beat Alexander Volkov or Sergey Spivak. The fact that he's been on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fight win streak, and something tells me she wants to make it 10. So I am going with Tom Aspinall.
That is not a terrible decision or bet. It makes sense. Tom Aspinall is young, fast, explosive. Curtis Blade's been chasing the belt for some time now. Don't know what he has left, but we will find out on Saturday. I just don't believe he's going to engage Tom Aspinall on a boxing type level. I believe he's going to be the ultimate fighter in Curtis Blades. He has to. He has to. I don't believe his boxing is the same as Tom Aspinall. He's gonna have to put in some work. Curtis Blades gonna have to put in some work, and the only way he can win this match is by controlling on the ground and submitting them. I guarantee you, Tom Aspinall is not going down, and he's not seeking a handout. He's seeking to destroy and move on with his life. Curtis Blades, I would like to see you win, but I just don't see how you can beat Tom Aspinall. Perhaps you might get lucky and get catch a rear naked choke of some sort, a guillotine choke, some kind of choke. But truly believe, like you, that Tom Aspinall is going to get the job done and move on to the next opponent.
Yeah, man. And Tom Aspinall, should he win, will have that elusive number right next to his name that he's more likely than not going to be in the top 15 of the division. And that's hella cool for a dude who wasn't even in the UFC 2 years ago, right? Or 2.5 years ago at this point. So shout out to Tom Aspinall. Always exciting. Always exciting. But speaking of exciting, holy shit, man. It's been great to fucking do this shit with you, Voodoo.
One
It's
more
always
thing before you
oh, go
before
ahead,
you wrap it up.
go for it, go for it.
Uh, um, Bellator is tomorrow or
Yes, it
later
is.
on today because it's almost 1 o'clock over here. Bellator is later on today. The ultimate Nurmagomedov is fighting. We're talking Usman Nurmagomedov. Usman is his name. I believe he is the single best Nurmagomedov on the planet, and he will show that tomorrow at Bellator. So tune in to see Jackson versus what's that fella's name at 170? He has a brother.
He is shit. I made my picks too.
Yeah,
On it.
Jackson versus uh, what's the dude's name?
Jesus. Oh, it is Lima, Douglas Lima,
Lima, Diego Lima. That's right.
Diego Lima.
Jackson versus
No, it's
Lima.
Douglas. It's
Yeah.
Douglas.
What did I say?
Yeah,
Oh, Douglas Lima.
Diego.
Douglas Lima.
Yeah.
Yes. Douglas Lima. So Douglas Lima versus Mr. Jackson here, Jason Jackson. It's gonna be
Hmm.
awesome. It's gonna be Usman Nurmagomedov versus Chris Gonzalez. I got my money on Usman all day long. The level of striking that he brings to the table, it's amazing for a wrestler. Amazing, and also Lawrence Larkin is gonna be on this card, so look him up too. He's gonna be fighting a Russian, uh, Mukhamed Burkhamov. So he's gonna break him off. He's
Hmm.
gonna break off Mukhamed.
Yeah. Oh.
uh, it's a packed card for Bellator on Friday and on Saturday a beautiful card for the UFC. So check out these two events come Saturday and Sunday, and enjoy yourself while you're checking it out.
Yeah, and also we got Combate. Actually,
That's true.
in a couple minutes, we actually have the weigh-ins for UFC London. All right, or it
Ooh.
could even be the Bellator or what have you. Which Rogue says that the weigh-ins are starting right now. If you guys are curious, early London weigh-ins and ceremonial weigh-ins will be after. So yeah, that's going down, right? But things that are going down is Jesus Christ, things that I'm doing. So I'm According to Woods. You can catch me According to Woods across the board. Dumb shit memes. This podcast. Let's see. Yeah, According to Woods on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. And
Mm-hmm.
then you can find this show as well as the According to Woods show on both the Grappling Network and the According to Woods channels on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, as well
Mm-hmm.
as doing stuff with the Wrestling Perspective podcast with Lars Fredrickson and Dennis Farrell, and a couple of the According to Woods episodes, namely the Ashley Evan Smith, one of the Eric Bischoff podcasts, as well as the Crippler Chris Lieben. That is actually up on the Grappling Network, TGN as it's known. But you can check that out on most smart TVs. You can download the Local Now app, right? And you go
Mm.
down to the sports section, go all the way to near the bottom, and you're gonna see like Ring of Honor stuff. You're gonna see, you know, what is it? The valleys, whatever. You're gonna see hunting channels and whatever. But you'll see the Grappling Network, and there's a bunch of awesome programming But one of those awesome shows is According to Woods on the Grappling Network.
Mm-hmm.
So again, Local Now app. Go ahead and download the app. Get all the way down Grappling Network and holler at your guy and take screenshots and tag me in it. It'll be great because Grappling Network is doing some great shit. So
That's right.
But also doing great shit, Voodoo Maximus. So where can they find you, good sir? We got to close out with
You can definitely, yeah. You can definitely find me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook page, Twitter. These are my main spots that I like to hang out and hit that like button, that share button, that subscribe button. Share the content with your friends, and there's gonna be more content coming. So brace yourself.
Yeah, and even the motherfuckers you don't like, share it with them too. I'm just
Yeah.
saying. Yeah, I'm just saying. But we have been Voodoo in the Woods. Thank you guys for joining us. You guys are fucking awesome. Have a great weekend. There's a whole lot of fights. There's a whole lot of wrestling. A whole lot of everything going on. So take off your pants and jacket unless consent is always sexy. Hell yeah.
That's right.